Good afternoon and good evening, everyone. We urge you all to start building on Tezos now, since you have been well versed with the fundamentals of Tezos. All the fundamental foundational workshops have been completed, and if you have following the instructors and content, I'm sure you've come up with some ideas already to build upon. If not, don't worry. We will definitely take you through series 2 for the workshop starting today, wherein developers will take you through the various projects, dApps that are built on Tezos, the logic behind it, UI, UX, and much more. Today, we will take you through the process on how to use Chainstack environment, how you will deploy your projects. We will be sharing the document step-by-step guide on how to use the Chainstack for deployment post the workshop. Today we have Eugene Asiv, who is the founder and CEO of Chainstack. He has 15 plus years of experience in research on building products, and he's been leading teams across different countries. I welcome Eugene Asiv from Chainstack to have a wonderful and engaging session with you all.
Hi guys, thank you for the introduction, Puri. So my name is Eugene. I'm heading a company called Chainstack. Together, our brilliant team of engineers, product managers, and growth marketers. So we are building a managed blockchain service. We are partners of this hackathon because we love blockchain, as you see from my T-shirt. We support multi-protocol world. We love Tezos as well, and we're currently finalizing our support for Tezos on Chainstack, which will be released later this week. And today you are having a very unique opportunity because I will be doing a very alpha-like demonstration of Chainstack that nobody ever seen before. So it's pretty exclusive content today, and also the format of today's session will be quite interesting, I think. So the why we are so what people like in Chainstack in particular is that we provide very clean UI, very clean API interfaces to blockchain nodes and networks, and we also have amazing documentation. So let me share my screen and show you a couple of resources that we have. So basically, this is our website. Anybody who is interested, you can go check it out. What we're doing, it's pretty sleek, and you can see that we're supporting multiple protocols, like consortium protocols, public protocols as well. And soon in this spinner, you will see Tezos as well in a couple of days. We have customers like Dune Analytics, The Graph, and others who are quite well known in the space. As for our documentation, we have a separate documentation website where you can see all the details on how to use the platform. And again, soon you will have all the details how to use Tezos on Chainstack. As of now, we have here all the protocols that we support today. So for instance, you can check it out, how to use Ethereum on Chainstack, which tools you can use on Chainstack to connect to your nodes, like how to do it from the console, which APIs you can use, which dev tools, how to plug them in, and so on and so forth. So all this kind of information will be on our documentation website soon. So what's cool here is that we also provide tutorials on how to use different blockchains on Chainstack, how to develop on them. So again, for instance, if you take Ethereum, we have a bunch of tutorials here for different tools, like how to do things with Truffle, how to do things with Embark, Mix, all the well-known tools on Ethereum, and it has step-by-step tutorials how to do this. For each protocol, we provide this kind of tutorials because we believe that it should be very easy to start using any blockchain on Chainstack and in general. So that's why we spend time on doing these tutorials. So today's session, I want to do a live walkthrough through our Tezos tutorial that our brilliant team built, and I will be basically just going through it. And I've never gone through it, so it will be my first time. I just prepared some environments, some tools. We'll pass a link to you now if you're interested. So this is a real tutorial that will be published on docs.chainstack.com in a couple of days, maybe with some feedback from you if you have any once we go through it. But today I want to have this experiment. Is like, okay, let's see how easy it is to start building on TezAsia. Let's see how easy it is to start building on TezAsia on Chainstack with the resources that all these communities and all this ecosystem built, right? So this will be a kind of live experiment because I'm more or less an average guy. I know some tech, of course. I can code and I can interact with command line interfaces, etc. So, but I've never programmed anything in TezAsia. I'm not a smart contract developer. We're basically an infrastructure company, so most of the time I'm doing like infrastructure, like Kubernetes kind of things, and a little bit of programming, of course. But I'm not a core engineer in any of the protocols. So it will be a nice experiment to see how easy it is to kick off. Can we actually start from 0 to 1 in like half an hour, basically, by using TezAsia and TezAsia on Chainstack? So let's get it started. So here we have a simple fun contract written in Lego. Lego, as you know, is one of the languages that you can write smart contracts on TezAsia. And basically, we'll just build a very simple smart contract in Lego. We will use a real testnet environment. We will use FlorenceNet for deployment, and we'll interact with this contract through different tools. We'll check it out, how to interact with a smart contract that you've just deployed on a testnet through TezAsia client, which is command line tool, and also we'll use some user-friendly wallet, which is called Temple, and we'll try to interact with the smart contract with Temple, right? So this is a beginner-friendly workshop, and it's mostly for beginners. If you're like expert smart contract developer, I don't think that is good for you, but it's maybe interesting for you to learn which are the tools available in the ecosystem, like what's Chainstack and what's gonna be in our platform in a few days that you will see all the announcements everywhere. So basically, we're gonna use the example contract, which can be funded in any amount of TES by anyone on the network, and then we can withdraw 1 TES at a time from the fund contract by anyone on the network. So it's pretty much like a faucet on the network that we're gonna deploy and interact with, right? So what we need for today's workshop, basically nothing. We can kickstart with having nothing at all. We just need a Chainstack account, and we need a bunch of tools like Lego, compiler, and we need like a TezAsia client to interact from a command line interface, and we need Temple wallet to interact through the web app. And you can get all of that in like 5 minutes by just going and registering an account on Chainstack. So I already have an account, obviously, because I'm a heavy user of Chainstack as well. So I have a bunch of projects here. As you see, pretty clean interface. You can have like consortium project or public chain project. You can create new projects. You can select like which protocols you want to build, and depending on that, you can basically choose the type of the project. So I created a project called TezAsia Workshop, and actually joined a testnet for TezAsia already. And this public chain project, you can join any public blockchain network, basically, whether it's mainnet, testnet. So for the sake of the demo, I will just go through the wizard on joining, let's say, TezAsia mainnet. Why not? So as you see, we have a bunch of protocols here, like all the popular publicly facing protocols. TezAsia is here, and you can select multiple networks. So today we support a mainnet and testnet in the upcoming release. I already have a node on testnet. I will just deploy a node on mainnet for the sake of this event. So basically, I can deploy shared or dedicated nodes. In this upcoming release, we're gonna support shared nodes, which is basically API gateways to any given network. Later, we will support dedicated nodes as well, which you can use for stuff like baking, and you can use them as like your dedicated RPC endpoints as well. So it's like high performance way of interacting with TezAsia mainnet and testnets. What's also cool, you will be able to use archive nodes as well as full nodes. So basically, you will be able to get the history of the blockchain in like one easy click, basically, just getting access to the archive node. So let's say today we deploy a shared full node just to have an access to the RPC of a public Tezos mainnet network. What's also cool, you can use your private hosting. Basically, the idea is that you can deploy your own dedicated nodes in your private environment and run it under your own account. So that, let's say you have a trading bot or something like that, you can basically host your own node in your private cloud environment, and we will manage it for you. So you don't need to pay for Chainstack hosting. You just use your own hosting. Let's say I have 100,000 credits on AWS as a startup, and you want to leverage this, so it's possible to connect this account to Chainstack and deploy your own node, and it will be fully automated. The experience will be exactly the same as you would deploy it on Chainstack directly. So today I will be using Chainstack hosting for the simplicity. We support one region for the launch, which is Singapore in Google Cloud Platform. You can name the network somehow, like mainnet node, for instance. And then that's all. So I'm on the enterprise plan currently on my dev environment. So basically, on the enterprise plan, we support up to 400 million requests that are included into the plan, and then which is quite a lot of requests, I would say, based on our experience. And then you pay for extra requests on share nodes as well if you need them. That's all. Let's click join network and see what will happen. Basically, in 2 minutes, around that time, the node will be ready, and you will be able to access the endpoints, and you will be able to access the node. You can add as many nodes as you want. Soon we'll support many other regions and many other clouds. So this will be gradual work that we are doing for each protocol, including Tezos. So let's say I want to use the testnet node. I just deployed it like an hour ago. A testnet node, shared one in Singapore. What I can do, I can basically see what's here. I can see where it's deployed. I can get an HTTPS endpoint to access the node. I can also have alternative endpoint, which is like password protection by basic authentication. Let's say if you don't like this token-based access in the URL. And I'm going to use it in my tutorial, right? So here are the steps that we're going to go through. So basically, we will create public chain project that we've done already. Join FlorenceNet, also done. Access node credentials, done. Fund your developer Tezos account through a facet. Okay, that's interesting. I've never done that before. With legal, create a contract. Okay, that's clear. With Tezos client, compile and originate the contract through your Tezos node. Okay, originating, as I know, is deploying the contract basically to the Tezos network. With Tezos client, fund the contract. Okay, pretty clear because this is a function of a contract. Fund your user Tezos account through a facet and add the account to a Temple wallet. Okay, interesting. Interesting. I've never done that before, so it will be interesting for me to do that. With Temple wallet, interact with the contract. Cool. Looks pretty straightforward. Let's dive into it. So these steps we've already just done. Install Lego. If you go, you will see pretty straightforward guide how to install Lego. Most of you, I guess, they have Lego already installed, so it's not an issue. You can use a Dockerized installation, right? You can just download the Docker image and then run Lego through it. Pretty cool. You can also have static Linux binary. Okay, so what I've done, I've basically downloaded the binary for the simplicity's sake, and I have a couple of command lines here, and basically I can run Lego here, right? I see it's available. It's pretty nice. And I also installed Tezos client, which we'll see later. So Tezos client, yeah, I've installed it already. Also pretty straightforward steps how to install it. Like just download the binary and install it to your bin directory. Quite straightforward. I've done it. in like a couple of minutes because I have prior experience like in Linux and command line. Okay, let's dive into it. So install and configure test client. Once installed, configure the client to the Chainstack deployed for instance node. Okay, that's interesting. Let's try it out. So TezAsia client endpoint. Let's switch to my TezAsia client. Let's see whether it's installed or not. TezAsia client. Yeah, it's here. Cool. So let me probably make the terminal bigger. Can I change the size? Okay, I can just change it right here. So let's run this command, TezAsia client endpoint, and then I can use the endpoint that I've just provisioned like a few minutes ago, right? Endpoint, yes, and then config update. Cool, config update. This is not TezAsia mainnet. I know this is TezAsia Florence net. Okay, looks like it worked. Then, yeah, that's how we do it. That's what we just done, right? Fund your account with testnet test. The test facet generates one account at a time with test on all testnet and once, including Florence net. Awesome. That's very convenient. Go to the facet. Okay, I'm here. Facet is here. I already clicked like issue tokens, and I've got this, which I guess this is my wallet where I can get the test from, right? Let's see. Download the generated JSON file, place the generated JSON project directory where the TezAsia client is installed. Okay, that's what I've done already. I have this file here, and it's the same content as you've just seen in the browser in the facet, right? What's next? I need to activate accounts. Awesome. Let's try it out. So TezAsia client activate account alias. Okay, let's call it workshop with account JSON, right? With faucet account JSON should work, right? Yes, check the account balance. Okay, let's see whether it will work. Operation on the bootstrap very successfully injecting the node operation hash, waiting for the operation to be included. Let's see. Let's wait. Let's wait for it to finish. Amazing. Operation found in block. The sequence of operation was run. We recommend to wait more. Use command activated with TezAsia. Awesome. Let's see whether I have this coins in my account or no. TezAsia client get balance 4. Let's try. TezAsia client get balance 4 workshop, right? Pretty nice command line syntax, by the way. It's very human friendly, I would say. Oh my God, I have all these TezAsia here. I'm rich. That's great. Unfortunately, it's only on the testnet, but we are doing the serious stuff here, right? We're doing the development, so we're not here for coins only. Great, so this is done, right? I have my account called workshop, which I just fund through the facet. Okay, pretty awesome. Now, create a contract in Lego. Okay, now we're doing the development. It's amazing. Create simple fund contract in the Pascal Lego syntax with 2 entry points. Deposit any account on the network, can deposit any amount of TES in the contract, withdraw any account in the network, can withdraw 1 TES at a time from the contract. Amazing. So here's the code, simplefund.lego. Let's check it out in my code editor. I have some Lego highlighting here, which is pretty cool. And our our team has written quite nice code because they also added commands, which is very useful, right? So I can read it. To entry points, deposit any, withdraw one Tez. Okay, straightforward, simple storage and Tez. Okay, it's record, balance. So storage has one variable, which is balance, pretty straightforward. Amend the storage balance with deposit amount, deposit any. Okay, it basically it basically adds certain amount to my balance, pretty straightforward to the balance of the contract. Withdraw one Tez at a time, denominated in mu Tez, the small Tez unit. One Tez is sent to the sender calling the withdraw function. Withdraw fixed, we specify the amount, right? We specify the receiver, which is the contract sender, and then payout operation is a transaction, which is getting the withdraw amount and sending it to receiver, right? Payout operation, storage balance minus withdraw amount, and we basically get this test from our smart contract balance, right? So my main function is basically two options: whether I will deposit or withdraw coins from the contract, right? So it's very simple, more or less hello world kind of contract that we could build on Lego. I can read it in 5 minutes and understand it as well. Very clean, nice syntax, clean language, I think. Test the contract. Cool. So let's test it out. Before compiling the contract, you can test it using the Lego CLI. Deposit 10 tests. Okay, this is like a unit testing of our contract, right? So let's just copy this command because it's too long for me to type from scratch. I'm very lazy. So let's use the Lego console. Let's see. Lego dry run, simple fund, syntax Pascal Lego amount 10 deposit. So I basically deposit 10 tests into my smart contract. Let's see. Record balance 10 tests. Pretty awesome, it works. And now let's try to withdraw it. Let's try to withdraw. Record balance, okay, I withdraw one test, it worked, now I have 9. Pretty straightforward. Now let's do some serious stuff. Let's actually deploy it to the real network using the Chainstack endpoint that we generated before. Let's compile this smart contract in the TZ file. Lego compile contract using our source code file and using function main, and then to the simple fund TZ. Awesome, it's done. You can find some opcode here that is basically implementing our smart contract on like a virtual machine level. And now, what do we do? You're now ready to originate the compiled contract on FlorenceNet. Amazing. Originate the contract. Originate the contract using your LS account. Initiate the contract with 0 Tez and provide origination fee with burn cap. Interesting. Okay, let's copy this, and we will use Tez's client in this case. Tez client originate contract, simple fund, transferring 0 from alias. Obviously, we need to change this to workshop, right? Workshop. Running simple fund, init 0, burn cap 3. So this is a fee that we sent, right? Let's try it. Node is bootstrapped, estimated gas to 140, and it's pending currently. So we'll wait for a few seconds and it should complete, I assume. You will see the contract address originated contracts. Okay. Wow. What happened? Operation found in block. The sequence of operations was run. Okay. Okay. This is my code. Okay. New contract originated. Wow. Amazing. The operation that belongs blocks ago, you're going to wait more. New contract originated. So I will copy paste this just to save it somewhere. Contract adder.txt. I'll just copy it here so that I don't lose this address. Okay. So we basically deployed our simple fund contract, which we just wrote in Pascal legal language onto Tezos FlorenceNet network, and all in 25 minutes, right? Pretty awesome. So what do we do with this now? You now have a working contract of FlorenceNet. Amazing. Write down the contract address as you will need it later. Okay, that's what I've done through a web app and the Temple wallet. Awesome. Interact with the contract using the Tezos client. Oh, we are already a little bit familiar with Tezos client because we used it before, right? You can now fund a contract using the Tezos client. As you remember, we've initiated with 0 Tez, right? So the balance of this contract on FlorenceNet is basically 0, right? So let's try to deposit some Tez from the account that we generated using the facet, right? And the facet account is called workshop, as you remember, so we'll use it as alias, right? So what do we need to do? We need to get the contract parameter for the deposit function to pass to the Tezos client. Okay, let's do it. We use Lego in this case. Compile parameter simple Lego, and we check the deposit unit, right? And this is the parameter that we need to pass to the Tezos client, right? Tezos client transferred 10 from our workshop account to simple fund contract using these arguments and this fee, right? Let's try. And here I use my workshop account, and I'm transferring 10 Tez. Excited to see what will happen. So there's a hash that was changed. Oh, that was fast. It was much faster than before. Operation found in block, fee to the baker, guest limit, amount 10 Tez, pretty nice parameter that we specified. Okay, quite straightforward. So it looks like we funded the smart contract just now from our facet account, which is pretty cool. Now let's see. Let's check the balance of the simple fund contract, whether we actually funded. Oh, 10 Tez. It's pretty fast. I mean, we didn't wait long for all these operations, right? So quite fast network, I should say. I like it. Now we try to somehow interact with this contract more like a user is interacting with it. Like we try some browser tools to have an idea of, okay, we have a smart contract on a real network. We can interact as developers through some command line tools, but what about if we don't have console interface, if we just have a browser and we just want to interact with the blockchain from the browser, right? Get a temple wallet. Okay, I've pre-installed it, not to take your time on boring stuff like getting extension in the Chrome marketplace. So basically, I've created an account in Temple already with some Tez to execute operations on FlorenceNet. Okay, I didn't actually fund it, so let's create another. Let's try to generate more Tez. So I go to this facet again, and I get this net Tez, and I have one more account. So now I have Temple. What can I do? Can I import the account? Import account, amazing. So this is what? This facet file, okay. Facet JSON is the one that I got on the facet. Quite straightforward. Activation request sent, confirming. And that was not immediate. I hope that was faster. So what does the tutorial say? Import account, select facet file, will activate your account with Tez. And so I think that, oh, it's done, right? So I have my account with some Tez, which is a lot of Tez, I would say. which was just activated through the facet account file, right? Okay, cool. So how can I interact? Obviously, we could have built a real, like, full-fledged web app that you will be building as part of the hackathon, of course, most of the times. And you've had other sessions, I think, about building a web applications on top of Tezos. But for the sake of this like demo, we'll be using the Explorer, and we'll interact with the contract through the Explorer, right? Which you can also do, and which you can also do with other blockchains, like, for instance, Ethereum. You can interact with a smart contract from Etherscan, for instance. So that's why I saved this contract address, because it's actually on the real network, on FlorenceNet. So I need to change to FlorenceNet, and then I need to search for this address. 7 minutes ago, wow, 10 Tez that we just funded it with, the first facet account, right? Deployed by, again, my facet account. And we originated it, as you remember, right? And then we deposited 10 Tez. Everything is in the Explorer, pretty straightforward. Nothing else that we don't need. So what do? Click interact. Click interact, which is here, right? So what can we do here? Click withdraw, execute, Temple, Tezos wallet. Oh, that's nice. So we can now withdraw some funds that we deposited the contract with, right? And so withdraw, we click withdraw, right? And what do we choose? Execute Temple, Tezos wallet. Source, paste the wallet address, fill, wallet, Temple, Tezos wallet. Wow, okay. And I don't necessarily need to use my imported account here. I can just use another empty account that I use, right? The workshop account, for instance. I can connect to it, and nice. So click confirm. Okay, click execute. Wallet. Okay, again. And I choose my account 3, connect, confirm. Okay, what does it do? Request operation for you, interaction with the contract, gas fee. Okay, I cannot use my account because I don't have any Tez. Okay, so I will reject it and we'll try again. So I'll execute it again from my, yeah, essentially from this account that has some Tez, right? So I can use it. I cannot use my empty workshop account because it has no Tez to pay for gas. But this one has. So I confirm it here. Okay, and it looks like it's done. Let's see what's in the Explorer. Oh no, the SSL certificate is not good on the Explorer. Oh no. Okay, we need to call devs and ask them to change the Explorer URL. This doesn't look up to date. Okay, that's good. We found something that we can fix. It's really nice. So can we see this transaction right here? Withdraw, applied, 10 to 9, very nice. So we withdrew 1 Tez using this transaction. Oh, I can see probably something in the wallet here. Also, let's check my my Temple wallet. Assets activity. Pending, applied. Nice, nice. So can I check the Explorer, which works? Okay. So it was just now. Sender, send 1 Tez to me. Nice. That's all. Looks like that's all. So yeah, this tutorial that we just went through, we used nothing that we started with. Basically, we had nothing to work with. Then we onboarded onto Chainstack to get our testnet endpoint for Tezos on FlorenceNet to interact with it. And then we used a couple of command line tools and also the browser-based wallet to interact with real Tezos network. And in basically no time, we've written a very, very simple Hello World-like smart contract in Pascal Lego and interacted with it through the command line as well as the browser wallet as any user would do, right? So I think that's all for today. It would be interesting to get any questions that you might have with regards to the services that we're going to provide for Tezos, or any feedback on this particular tutorial or workshop, how it can be improved. Maybe we should build another tutorial for Tezos for maybe less like beginners, but more like an advanced user. So yeah, I would be happy to get any questions here. I think we have some time for questions.
Thank you, Eugene, for taking up a wonderful session on Chainstack workshop. So now we'll keep the session open for a quick Q&A. So we have a question from Newgate. His question is, "Hi, I'm trying to code a contract that can interact with the transfer function in contract NFT, but it gives an error that the contract cannot be found."
Yeah, that's a good question. I think it requires additional troubleshooting because by this description, it's not really possible to troubleshoot. So again, we will be happy to look into any issues with any smart contracts, but just as a disclaimer, Chainstack, we're not like smart contract developers per se. We're more like an infrastructure guys. So we basically help people to build on different protocols. We provide nodes which are reliable and you can send many requests to. We'll be happy to dig into the code to try to understand what doesn't work. So feel free to reach out to us. We will try to help. And as for this particular question, it needs to be dug deeper because by description, it depends on which contract are you using. I assume that it's not the same contract that I just went through because it's NFT contract. So it needs additional investigation, I would say.
Okay, so we have one more question from Newgate. Can you do an interactive example with a transfer NFT function?
Maybe it will be a next session, and actually good idea for the next tutorial to use some NFT token in the tutorial. But as at the moment, there is no specific, let's say, I have nothing at hand to do a quick demo on NFT on Tezos at the moment.
Okay, so I don't see any more questions coming in. Once again, thank you so much for taking up the session. Have a pleasant day.
Thank you, Sneha.